Welcome in, everyone, to another live edition of 410 Sports Talk. I'm Glenn Martin here with my co-host James Haskell, and DK's in the background helping us out. Boy, do we have a lot to talk about, folks. After the embarrassing home loss to the Houston Texans, the Ravens have, man, I got to give them credit. They've made a ton of moves, and it looks like there could be some more on the horizon to try and save this season, turn the season around, and really kind of claw out of the hole that they've dug themselves through the first 5 weeks of the season. So we're going to get into all the transactional news, trades, pickups, what could be on the horizon, what it means for the current roster. We'll get into all that in just a minute. But Jimmy, before we get to that, who is this show's special sponsor?
That's right. We've been enjoying our sponsorship with Delete Me and think there's a lot of value there. Delete Me, of course, if you guys aren't familiar, haven't been following the show, they are a faithful sponsor of the show, and they make it easy, quick, and safe to remove your personal data online at a time, of course, when surveillance, data breaches are common enough to make everyone vulnerable. If you guys think Amazon is real as Amazon is, so is the deep and dark web. Data brokers make a profit off your data. It's simply a commodity. Anyone on the web can buy your private details. Of course, what does that lead to? Identity theft, phishing attempts, and harassment. But now you can protect your privacy with Delete Me. And it's really, I think, an awesome product for anybody, from someone whose online presence is significant to not. But ultimately, you take control of your data. Keep your private life private by signing up for Delete Me. Now at a special discount for our listeners. You get 20% off your Delete Me plan when you go to joindeleteme.com/hit. That's HIT. Use that as the promo code HIT at checkout. It's the only way you get 20% off. So go ahead and go to deleteme.com/hit and enter HIT at checkout. Protect yourself online, protect your information, your personal data, and otherwise, go check out Delete Me.
No doubt. Absolutely. Now, maybe more important than ever, and will continue to just grow in its importance. So, King Blaze, appreciate you coming out. J-Dog, thanks for joining us. Nathan, Malik, thank you for coming out. Carla's going to be at the game this weekend. Well, hopefully you get more enjoyment out of next weekend than I got out of this past weekend's game against the Texans. We'll certainly be rooting for that. And I think Jimmy has look, we were very upset after that last game. But I think with given some time, some reflection, I think Jimmy might have some positivity for us here in a little while. But Jimbo, I want to start with the first step on this this list of transactions that the Ravens have done. Let's see. Massey says, Glenn, how was the stadium atmosphere? Were they really boos for Harbs? The atmosphere was not good. I mean, it started great early. The place was loud. It sounded like M&T Bank Stadium. But obviously the game got quickly out of hand. They scored their first 8 possessions of touching the ball. And, I mean, so, yeah, it turned sideways really fast. There were boos. I don't know if they were directed specifically at Harbs, but certainly directed at the Ravens. There's no doubt about it. Yeah, so the state, it's like nothing I've ever seen. I've never been a part of that. I mean, I don't get to go to every game every year, but I try and make it to at least one or more than one game a year. Some seasons I've went to 5. Something like, I've never seen it to where it was like that. That was terrible. So, hey, but to the Ravens' credit, they're making moves. They're trying to reverse this course and get them back on the right track. So let's start where the Ravens started, and that is the signing of CJ Gardner-Johnson, the safety, most recently of the Houston Texans. Jimbo, this is a guy who is still only 27 years of age. He's got 18 career interceptions. Just last year, he had 59 total tackles, 6 picks, one of which he returned for a touchdown. Again, still a guy who's very much so in his athletic prime, but, was cut for a reason. But what was your initial thoughts when you saw the Ravens are bringing in CJ Gardner-Johnson?
I know I got people reacted to me on Twitter, but I don't know. This doesn't do much for me. I get it. Like I should be more excited about it, but I just feel like, once again, we need to control the line of scrimmage offensively and defensively. So if we're not making moves to do that, I don't know what we're doing. And I understand we had to do something in the secondary, right? I guess we had to do something, but I don't know. It is what it is. I don't know what to say, man. It's fine. Like,
But you're not
Not satisfied.
right. Well, I think like DK points out in the chat, and I've seen a lot of people mention this, is that they think that this could mean that there's maybe some more injuries to the secondary than maybe the severity of Kyle Hamilton's groin injury. Maybe there's something more that we're not seeing, and that could very well be the case, especially after once we go over the next move that the Ravens made, where they further bolster the safety position. But the way I look at it is, I think the Ravens were realizing that in the absence of Adarius Washington, that they were wanting to have more 3 safety sets. So even if this doesn't mean there's more injuries, I think this is definitely a clear, signal that they wanted to go to more three safety sets where they allow Kyle Hamilton to then move closer to the line of scrimmage to be that Swiss Army knife he once was here, where he can move all around. He can play nickel. He can play some dime linebacker. He doesn't have to be in a traditional safety role. And I think that's going to help this defense a whole lot. So even if hopefully there, DK and a lot of other people who were predicting that maybe this could mean, man, there might be some injuries at the back end of that defense that maybe that they're trying to account for, that, again, they don't have to share as much throughout the week, that they, hopefully it's not that. Hopefully it's just that they want to move to a more 3 safety scheme and get Kyle back to the close to the line of scrimmage.
And that's what I thought too. For my initial reaction was what I mentioned, but I did think about the value that Kyle has. Of course, if our defense is finding ways to improve rapidly, right, with as little moves as possible, because we're mid-flight here, you can only do so much. This could be a way to do it. There's an old saying that a large man said one time. There was a large man with his 3 friends on a boat. He was 3 times larger than everybody else on the boat. He got up. They're on a small fishing boat, Glenn. He got up and he took a step in the wrong direction. What do you think happened?
They all went in the water.
The boat sunk, right? Because it started to take on water, right?
Yep.
But technically, the problem with the boat is not about a heavy person. It's about weight distribution. So my point is that if you have very little moves you can make, and if Kyle, if you can change his responsibilities in a way that allows him to magnify his abilities, then to your point, Glenn, that's a good spin on it. And I hope that's why. Right. And hopefully it's not like what you said and what people have been saying, that these guys are really hurt, but it's more about, okay, let's make Kyle worth 2.5 players in impact, right? Like, how can we redistribute his abilities is what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah, that's a good point. And also maybe allow them to play less 2 linebackers, especially in passing situations, not have, when he's healthy, Roquan and Teddy Buchanan out there together, get one of them off the field. Maybe, look, we remember last year, this defense made a huge turn around week 10, week 11 of last season. And there was kind of a lot of different things that happened during that time. So we didn't exactly know who deserved the most credit for that turnaround. But maybe, just maybe, the biggest contributing factor is the guy we haven't had all year, and that's Ardarius. And maybe that him being added is what they're really missing. And so maybe they're trying to recreate what Ardarius was able to bring to that defense, the changes that he allowed them to make by bringing in a guy like CJ Gardner-Johnson. So that's kind of the hope, is that, like you said, small change can make a big difference, especially when you're dead last. I mean, you can't get worse than dead last. You can't get worse than being predicted to be the first team to give up 600 points in a single season. That it can't get worse. So hopefully it works for the better. But I will say this, I'm a bit nervous when you hear things, because again, he's 27 years old, super productive player last year, gets cut after a couple weeks this year, in a defense. I mean, a team that's trying to go somewhere. This isn't like a young team that knows they're not. No, the Texans want to try and win something. So I just want to play D'Amico Ryans. I know, DK. I already had it up. I know. I already had it up, though. So I didn't have to create any new windows. Okay. Just say that. But let me know by a thumbs up if you can hear it when I hit play here. But this is D'Amico Ryans, head coach of the Houston Texans, on his decision to cut CJ Gardner-Johnson and why it was his move and why he felt like it was the best move for the team.
Yeah, because it's my decision to move on. I know it's best for my team.
Performance or something else? There's been a lot of news reports on it.
Yeah, I'm not going to go into all the details of it. It was coming from me, the head coach. It's my team. It was the best for our team. and that's why I made the decision. So I'm not going into any further details on it.
All right. Well, he didn't tell much, but I think what we can see is that, there was obviously something going on behind the scenes. I don't think it was necessarily play related. It could have been. It could be a combination of a few factors. But does that make you at all nervous that a guy who just put up 6 interceptions for a Super Bowl winning defense that was, the best in the league last year, and he goes to a new team, expect to be one of the leaders, and after a couple weeks, he was ousted off the team by the head coach's decision? Does that make you a little nervous about him joining this locker room?
It does make me a little nervous. I like to say I believe in the Ravens vetting process, but we did sign Jair Alexander simply based on his association to Lamar Jackson. I think at this point.
Well, he's also a pretty good player in his own right.
True, but how much vetting did they do on that knee? Because rookies are playing instead of him with a injury riddled defense. Anyway, I hope that he improves, and we need every guy we can. So Jair, you can step up. But and we'd love to have you on the show. And I appreciate you defending the squirrel dance. That did make me like him.
Yeah, that's true. That's
first year Raven, only
he's
guy
the only one
that did it. And some people were saying he made a fool of himself. I would be mad. If the fact that more people didn't do it. So, oh my gosh, what was the original question?
Well, are you nervous about CJ?
Oh,
CJ
right.
Gardner.
I want to know more details. Sometimes people just don't like people. Was he on a contract? He was 26. Was he on his second contract off the rookie deal?
No, he had a few stops, if I remember correctly. I think he was drafted by the Saints, and then he bounced around to a couple different teams. So I think
was he on the Eagles at one point?
He was in the Eagles last year, and then he was on the Eagles 2 years. Yeah, and then he had 1 year where he was with a different team, and then the year before that he was with the Eagles again. I just X'd out like an idiot.
I wonder if Howie Roseman is laughing at Eric DeCosta. I wonder if he baited him into doing it.
Well,
I'm sure he called Howie.
He had to.
Yeah, so I
got to get his take. Yeah.
My thing is you got to do what you got to do. Take a flyer. What the heck?
Yeah, I mean, what really could – it can't get much worse than it is right now in Baltimore. It really can't, So I'm excited. Yeah, he has moved from 3 teams. Yeah, he's bounced around quite a bit. Massey says Pats, Bills, and Jags. Chiefs were fun and frustrating to watch. Pats punted more than the Ravens did versus the Bills, and Jags lost turnover battle versus the Chiefs and still won. That makes you sick, doesn't it? Like, it seems like nowadays, if we lose the turnover battle, I don't care if it's 1-0, 3-2, 2-1, we ain't winning the damn ball game nowadays. So yeah, that is kind of crazy to think all those things happened and they still were able to. I mean, the Patriots beat the Bills.
Anything can happen, dude.
That's wild. That's why, of course, when Brady was there, it was just routine. But that's there we go. Saints is where he started. Then Detroit, that's what it was. Eagles and Texans. So this is his 5th team now, and he's only 27 years of age, and he's again been very productive his entire career. So that is a little bit worrisome for sure. I mean, if he was, if the talent matched what he gives you in the locker room, I would assume he wouldn't be on his 5th team. So there's got to be something there that either rubs his teammates the wrong way, the coaches the wrong way, something happens. But hopefully this isn't like a Deontay Johnson situation where he just completely blows up once he gets here. Hopefully he goes, you know what? I'm on my 5th team. I'm 27. I've been good. I better not be, disruptive. I better not be, just go out there and play ball. Don't make too many waves, and hopefully he adds something to this team. But Jimbo, that wasn't even the biggest move that they made, right?
No, yeah, I'm glad you mentioned
go
that
ahead.
because
I know you're happy.
Yes, sir. I think I said see you later in every language that I knew, in every way that I knew to do so in our group text when Odafe Oweh, of course, was traded to the Los Angeles Chargers. Not only was he traded, Glenn, he was traded away the farthest that he could go geographically. Thank you, Odafe. Goodbye. Good riddance. Odafe Oweh, of course, was traded on the 7th, just yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. The deal, which involved the Harbaugh brothers, as we all know. the deal is as such. Let me give you the breakdown.
It's right on the
here.
screen there.
Oh, shoot. See, I'm reading off my other screen. Here we go. Adam Schefter, of course, tweeted this out first, broke the story. The Ravens get help in the secondary by getting, is it Alohi Gilman?
Mm-hmm.
Alohi Gilman, the Notre Dame colleague of Kyle Hamilton. Kyle Hamilton, of course, took over his spot after he left. And then the Chargers get Odafe. Oh, and we also get a 5th-round pick in next year. Odafe Oweh. The Chargers get Odafe Oweh, and then the Rams 7th-round pick in 27. So we pick up a 5th and get a safety and give away Odafe and a flyer. So, yeah, I'm okay with this. Actually, I'm not just okay with this. I'm super happy about this because any player at any position on defense or offense, I think was going to, certainly defense is going to be more impactful. I don't still know what Odafe did this year. Showed no improvement. You know, he came in all ripped. He's Ken doll, looking all strapped and swollen, cut up, and what? Like,
yeah, it led to nothing.
What do they call it, Glenn? Underwear Olympics?
Mm-hmm. Oh, he's a gold
The
medalist.
underwear Olympian.
Yeah, he is a gold medalist in the underwear Olympics. I mean, yeah, you're right. I mean, everybody thought that, hey, 10 sacks last year. This is the year where he really turns out to show why he was the 1st-round draft pick for the Ravens, kind of live up to that greatest workout ever seen by an outside linebacker. Remember that? Remember that was sold to us by Wink? Greatest I've ever seen. Well, he had 0 sacks through 5 games. If you look at any analytics, his win rate was plummeting. He was virtually never double teamed, Jimbo. They just were like, we don't need to. Like, I'm talking less than like everyone else in the league. And he still had 0 sacks. Like we simply could not continue. It certainly weren't going to be able to pay this guy. So I think the Ravens did what they should do. I mean, look, it's a good thing for Odafe. He gets to go to a team that's in better position. I mean, they're in better position right now with the other Harbaugh. And maybe a fresh start will be just what he needs. I think he's too vertical. I think he's a robot. I don't think he's going to all of a sudden turn into this great pass rusher. But let's remember, Joe Ortiz is the GM there, who's the former lead scout here in Baltimore when he was drafted. So this obviously Joe Ortiz remembers that whole scenario and still thinks he's got some untapped potential. But
wild to me.
But what it does do, first what it does is it brings Alohi Gilman to this roster, who's a 28-year-old who's, again, had a very productive career, spent his entire career as a Charger. In his career, he does have 252 tackles, 1 sack, and 5 interceptions. Definitely a hitter. This dude can bring the ball carrier down in the open field. I think that's one thing that we've been struggling at this year. Lots of missed tackles. This guy is a sure tackler. He can bring the hit stick along with him. I think he will further provide depth to that safety position. Again, allow Kyle Hamilton hopefully to be moved around and get back to being the all-world safety that we paid him to be. But it also, what it does, Jimbo, is it does leave a hole, right? Odafe Oweh was playing a ton of snaps here, especially in the absence of some of the other guys in his room. And so with him gone, it's certainly going to give more snaps to Mike Green. It's going to give more snaps to Tavius Robinson. I guess maybe even to some degree to Kyle Van Noy, even though he kind of plays opposite him. And unfortunately, I think for Ravens fans, it's going to give more to David Ojabo, at least right now. And Trenton Simpson had a decent game last time. They gave him some shot at outside linebacker. I think he had a couple nice rushes and all. But I think what this is really setting up, do you see, like, I look at this and immediately it was like they're bringing someone else in at the edge.
I'm glad you brought that up, Glenn, because I know that's exactly what we talked about on the phone, and this is what you thought. So, yeah, continue, but I'm glad you brought this up. Why do you think that? Well,
because if nothing else, you just gave a lot of snaps just left the door. It just left. So not only are you abandoning a whole bunch, a guy you're leaving vacant a whole bunch of snaps that you now field. I don't think they were going, man, we're going to give those snaps to Mike Green because that's what that rookie needs is more responsibility and more snaps on top of what he'd already gotten. And I seriously doubt they're like, man, we got to free up spots for a David Ojabo to get on the field. No, hell no. So the only thing that makes any logical sense is they use that cap savings because, of course, they saved about $8 million from Odafe Oweh, and they're going to spend that towards acquiring another player. Now, who that player is, it could be It could be a bunch of different guys. I think
Mhm.
Thibodeau is a guy I've seen on the trade market. I think Brian Burns, I've seen his name kicked around. I'm not exactly sure. I know Dexter Lawrence. I've seen a lot of different names, and I don't know which one it's going to be. But I cannot imagine the Ravens front office going, "Oh yeah, Max Crosby. Now come on, that would be awesome." But I don't think they're getting rid of him. But I would love it.
No.
Trust me, I would love it. You can give a couple first rounders and all that. But
Yeah.
I think it's clear the Ravens were not going, man, we got to get Odafe out of here because we have got to clear up some space to get more run for David Ajabo, a young Mike Green who's already playing too much, in my opinion. Although
Yeah.
at least you can go, well, development purposes, this is going to pay off in the long run because I don't think it's necessarily paying off right now. But do you see any possibility that they just got rid of Odafe and have no plans to replace him with anybody else?
Yeah, that was my original thought. But just because their initial need they felt like was in the back end, I think maybe they think the most impactful thing they can do is free up Kyle. And this just continues to add to the ability to do that, right? With getting another guy back there, and it kind of shores that up. But to your point, I really hope that that's wrong and that they do dig deeper and take the next step. And one of the things we talked about is maybe Eric DeCosta is now learning, while this season is hanging on by a thread, that nothing is guaranteed. The window is never open forever.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to take advantage of it while it is. I mean, we saw the Orioles, cautionary tale, right? The Ravens certainly have higher expectations than the Orioles.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's fair to say, right? Coming into the season.
Absolutely. Best roster in the league.
Yeah. So to that point, maybe he's like, all right, splash of cold water in the face.
Mm-hmm.
I need to pick it up here. And I hope he does make a move. I mean, but Glenn, to your point, the one thing I could see happening, you brought up Dexter Lawrence, maybe they feel like getting improvement in the middle of the defensive line is more important than getting edge rushing. I don't know. Like, if you can only have one or the other, I would like to know what their preference would be. I think DK is saying he thinks the interior, so like the defensive line. Certainly they've taken more hits there. Everyone's talking about the injuries, but man, Matabike, that's huge injury. And then Broderick Washington's on IR right now as well. Travis Jones is banged up. All those are a big deal. So it'll be interesting to see what they do here. And maybe they swing. I don't know. The thing is that they could sign Lawrence off the street, right? Oh, no, I'm thinking of Wilkins. No. Gosh, I'm thinking of...
Christian Wilkins, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, they could sign him, but... Yeah.
They could sign him off the street, and then DK, apparently the Steelers thing was false. Yeah, I believe he's still a free agent. So they could sign him off the street with the cap space and then still make some moves trade-wise.
Mm-hmm.
They could. That'd be wild, right? But... they could do it. So I'm hoping they exhaust all the resources, but I guess the only thing I'll say is don't be surprised if it's not a 1-for-1 replacement, right? They don't just improve at the spot they traded, but they because they feel like they only have one move to make, they do it at the interior of the defensive line.
Man, I tell you, I hope that they would. I mean, if you're going to start going all in to the point where you're making those kinds of moves, I hope they do go all in the sense
just
like don't. Yeah. I mean, I think Thibodeau's he's the most likely. He's got 2.5 sacks this year. He's got 23.5 in his career. Best season he had in 23 at 11.5. Like somebody mentioned in the chat, he's good against the run. He's 6'5", 260. I mean, he looks like an outside linebacker for Baltimore. I hope that they go get. I mean, he's young. They did the same thing, kind of like with Roquan Smith, where they got rid of. They wanted to pay a middle linebacker, but just didn't want to pay who they had in Patrick Queen. So they go out and get a guy and they pay the guy they want to go get. So maybe that's the case maybe they wanted to pay Odafe and they're just like, we can't pay this guy. He's just not good enough. He's not productive enough. So they go out, trade for a guy who they do want to pay and do decide to invest that money in. So I hope that whatever they do, I want them to address both. I don't think you can just address the edge because teams are still going to gouge us up the middle. And unless you tell me that Travis Jones is all of a sudden back to 100%, that Broderick's definitely going to be back after his 4-week absence, that John Jenkins is still feeling strong, even though he's an older guy and probably playing more than we initially told him he would. Unless you tell me everything else is lining up on the interior. I know Matabike is not coming back, but at least if you tell me everything else is, and Peebles is getting better, then maybe. But I really hope they address both interior and on the outside.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be really interesting to see what happens here. There's certainly some ads, oh, what does Michael Scott say in the episode where they do like the murder guessing game? There's a lot of intrigue and a lot you're talking about.
Yeah.
I feel like that right now. But I mentioned it before, you mentioned it before, Glenn. The reason I feel that way is because I'm getting I don't know if it's the hopeless optimist in me or not, but I'm getting a stroke of optimism here with the Baltimore Ravens, and I realize we are in a dire situation. I'm not so delulu, like people like to say. I'm not so delusional that I don't realize where we are. That being said, the Steelers are technically 2 games ahead of us. The Browns they have 2 wins, and they may also have 1. Somebody check me on that. But the Bengals and us have 1 win. So in the division,
No, I think the Bengals have 2.
The Bengals have 1 win.
Do they?
I'm pretty sure. DK, check me on all that. They have 2 wins? Okay, then it's the Browns and us that both have 1 win. Sorry. Yes. But my point in saying that is that, to put in perspective, the leader in our division has a 2-game spot. Oh gosh, there go the balloons. Has a 2-game lead on us, right, Glenn? And I think it's also fair to say that their strength of schedule has been ridiculous in comparison to ours. Yes. With that being said, look at a few things here. So I'm gonna count on this. I'm gonna count on Lamar coming back after the bye. And guys, follow me here. My logic. I'm also gonna count on the defense not getting any better. I'm not gonna count on it because I'm trying to be as conservative.
Can they get a little better?
I'm just trying to be as conservative.
Well, maybe
as
not way better. Okay, but can you at least give us to like the 25th best defense?
No, I'm gonna say they continue to give up 30 points a game.
Okay. All right.
And I don't care. That's the thing. That's whatever. Right. Like, I don't want that to be the case.
Even to the Browns.
I don't think that will be the case, but that's what we're going to say. Okay. All right. So we're 1-4. I think we lose to the Rams, go 1-5 at that point. We take the bye week. Lamar comes back. All right. We're locked and loaded. Lamar's fresh. Let's roll. Right. I don't care what our defense can be, me, you, and DK. I think we can beat the Bears. 2-5. I don't
know what kind of range I have anymore.
I feel good about our ability to beat the Bears at home based on the fact that I think if Lamar Jackson's under center, I think we can outscore him.
Okay.
I just think we can.
So now we're 2-5.
2-5. I think Miami is a dumpster fire. They have nothing to play for. 3-5. I say we lose to Minnesota. 3-6.
Okay.
I say we beat Cleveland in Cleveland. Then who is also a dumpster fire. We're 4-6. We beat the Jets at home, 5-6. We beat the Bengals 6-6. Now, what it all comes down to in this last quarter-ish of the season is, can we take care of Pittsburgh? I believe that we can. I don't believe in Pittsburgh. I think that we can put up more points than everyone that's left on the remainder of our schedule, except for Green Bay. Okay. So I think if this list here, I think we take all these teams out because we can outscore them, except Green Bay. So we go, we're 6-6, if I'm not mistaken.
That would put us at 10-7. Yeah.
And then, so ultimately we end 10-7, and I think that wins us the division.
Because of the 2 wins over
Pittsburgh.
The Steelers. Those are big. So if we drop one in your prediction, if we lose one of those games to the Steelers, then it's over?
Well, we really need them to fumble then, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
We really need them to trip over their own shoelaces, which I don't doubt will happen, just like we have.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? I mean, look, you said it, Glenn. The Bills just lost to the Patriots. Everybody's bound to trip over their
the
shoelaces.
Packers lost to the Browns.
Right. Goodness gracious. The Pittsburgh Steelers barely beat the Jets.
Took everything they had.
Yeah, like, goodness gracious. They're all stoked about it. Who are the Jets, dude? The Jets should be relegated to the NCAA.
Do you think the easier path to the playoffs would be winning their division, or do you anticipate, because like right now there's predictions saying that the AFC South could get 3 teams into the playoffs?
No, it ain't happening.
Because the Colts are absolutely on a tear. The Texans are thinking, and of course everybody is like, oh, look at them. They're back.
Yeah, well, no, they're not real.
you put up some good numbers against a really beat up and bad Ravens defense. But anyway, they say they're back, and now after the Jags beat the Chiefs, they're saying, hey, the Jags might get in. So do you think the easier path is the North, or do you think there's potential they could get in as a wild card?
I see what you're saying. The AFC is kind of goofy right now, right?
Goofy.
Yeah, but I still think the easiest path is here because half of our teams in the division are basically eliminated.
Yeah.
So it's Lamar. To me, in my mind, whatever hole we're in right now, it's Lamar versus Aaron Rodgers, the way I see it. And I know that's extremely simplifying this situation. I mean, it's a team game, and I get it. But my point is, like, I'm taking the team with the best quarterback, and that's where I'm putting my money.
Well, the Bengals just made a pretty big move for a quarterback.
Yeah, they did. They picked up old Joe Flacco, and actually I saw one of the guys on the team that was amazed. I don't know if you saw this, by Joe's ability to hear the plays from the coach today and take a second and then repeat it back perfectly. The first guy ever in the history of football talking about Joe Flacco's mind.
Hey.
Not that Joe's a bum. Like, he's not a slouch, but certainly, like, people weren't calling Joe Peyton Manning.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like, everyone talk about the golden arm.
That's right. The cannon.
Right? But certainly not
enough.
that he was Rain Man.
No, not the savant that Peyton Manning is, but obviously what they needed in that, they said, look, we need a guy who can just get the ball to our playmakers. So credit to Joe for not only sticking around the league, but I mean, there's not been too many interdivision trades and even less interdivision trades where there's a quarterback being moved. I think there's only like the fifth time in history that this has happened. Like McNabb being traded from the Eagles to the Commanders. That was pretty noteworthy.
Yeah.
Now it also kind of shows what Cleveland might think about Joe, or they could just be trying to deal with some.
Do you see what they gave him?
What do you mean gave him?
They a fifth rounder.
Yeah, fifth round. Yeah, but I think they kicked something back, right? And wouldn't they get a pick back, like a seventh?
I don't remember, but dude,
I think it was like a sixth for a fifth. I think it wasn't much.
Think about it, Joe. That's what we got for Joe, right? From the Broncos.
I'd have to look. I don't even know.
I'm pretty sure we got a fifth. Like, that was our big. We got some other stuff, but like the fifth was the thing.
Oh, man, I don't even remember all that, but I'd have to look that up. But I will say credit to Joe for not only going there, but also getting the start immediately. And then, man, poor Browning. Like, geez, Browning. I mean, what do they think about you, bruh? Like, they're like, nah, get that 40-year-old, bring him over here. And also, do you think he will eventually complete the four-team, the four corners of the AFC North and eventually end up everywhere?
No, I think he stops at his I don't think
that's perfect. I didn't even know you were going to pull that up. Did you throw that up, DK? That was purely, I had a whole nother window open. It's crazy.
That's hilarious. I think that's where Joe draws the line. I draw the line right here, Pittsburgh.
If you think what if I told you that he's having another kid and the Steelers knocked at the door?
Wait, say that again?
He's going to have another kid in the offseason. And
the
Steelers. No, I'm saying, what if I told you that? What if I could predict that? He's going to have another kid this offseason, and the Steelers are going to ask to sign him.
Oh, my gosh. That would be insane.
He's taking that deal. He's taking that deal.
Oh, stay out of the house?
Yeah, dude. You don't want to be in that house with them screaming kids. He's already got about 13 of them in there. This dude's trying to turn into Phillip Rivers. This guy is crazy. This guy is absolutely crazy. But yeah, I think I to your point though earlier, I mean, we kind of got sidetracked. I love that picture of Joe Flacco Thanos. That is awesome. But I get your point. I think you're right. I think there is a very clear path for 10-7. And look, Blackula makes another good point. He said he's not conceding that Vikings game, and I agree with him. Let's not forget Carson Wentz is their quarterback, and when he's not, JJ McCarthy's their quarterback. I don't see any reason why. Now, albeit it's a road game, it's a long travel, all that. Just remember what Lamar Jackson does to NFC teams.
That's true.
So I'm not so sure that the Vikings are a shoo-in. Now they'll be the favorite, I would assume, unless the Ravens are fully healthy and at that point hitting on all cylinders again. But I think you make a good point. There is a path for the Ravens to get to 10 wins, and 10 wins should in this year's NFL get the Ravens to the playoffs. And then if they're in the playoffs, you throw everything else out the window and you play football. So even though we were pretty down after last week's game, there's no doubt, just like most fans, look, we're fans. That's all we are. We're not media members. We're fans. And as fans, we were just like most fans. We were down in the dumps. We were bummed out. But I think with a little bit of time, I think we can kind of come to a spot where we say, you know what? They can get in the playoffs. 10 wins is possible.
Mm-hmm. It's crazy that so I got to be honest. Part of the reason why I started thinking this is because I'm doing a favor for a friend, helping him out, and he told me that he could either pay me in cash or he could give me Ravens tickets.
Ooh.
And so I was trying to
what
consider.
Game?
He said any game, any home game I wanted.
Playoffs?
Well, no, regular.
Okay. All right.
Glenn's like, playoffs?
All right.
So I started to consider what is more valuable. Is the cash or is the game?
Well, that depends how much the cash is, of course.
Well, we'll say that it's the tickets are lower level. So they're comparable.
Ooh, okay. Well, here's your choices then. If you're not going this weekend, let me give you your remaining home schedule, Jimbo. You got the Bears at a 1:00 game.
Oh, let me tell you which one I want. I want that last Steelers game.
Oh, that's week 14.
Yeah.
That's 1:00. Okay. December the 7th. Okay.
That's what I want.
So you mean to tell me you're not going to leave your family on Thanksgiving and go see the Bengals?
I thought about that too. Tanya was the one that brought that one up. She's like, let's go to the Bengals game.
Did she realize it was Thanksgiving?
Oh, she said it. Yeah.
Dang. She's like, get away from the.
Leave the kids out with your mom, dude. The problem is we had no one to watch the kids. My mom's going to my sister's house for Thanksgiving.
Got you. I'll just let Henry handle it.
We'll leave the camera on.
Just give him a wiffle ball bat.
Guys, just so you know, we're totally joking. I would never leave my kids home alone. I don't need CPS coming to my house. That would never happen.
Coda's got him.
Coda's got him. For sure ain't nobody walking in the house.
No. And he's old enough to watch him, right? How old is he?
He's 12, man.
Dude, 12 is how old you have to be a babysitter, dude.
Wait. I have a really funny story really quickly about this. Today, Glenn, you had an aging shepherd. You know, this goes, guys, I have wood floors and an aging German shepherd. When he lays down, he's down for a while. So my two sons run around him, right?
He's furniture.
And sometimes he gets frustrated because they'll like accidentally kick his nose or like kick his paw or something, right? He doesn't feel like moving. And so finally he's like, and he gets up and he moves. But Eugene was running past him back and forth. And he had a little toy in his hand. He didn't see the toy on the ground. Eugene's running. He passes Coda, hits him. And then he's running, and he's looking at me, and I'm looking at him, and he steps on the toy, slides out, falls face first, right? So he's crying, everything else. Dude, when he hit the ground and started crying, Coda's tail started wagging. I swear he was laughing, dude.
He laughed at him, dude.
I swear to you, he was laughing. I could not believe it. I was like, really, Coda? It's like that, dude?
He's an old man now.
Yeah, he's an old man. Anyway, sorry, I'm getting super sidetracked here. Always Blessed says, my guys, what's up? Crazy thing is that I have a game day Oweh jersey dropped over 300. All I can do is laugh. Sorry, bro. Put it on eBay or something, man.
Game day.
Yeah. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, put it on eBay. Maybe like one of his family members will buy it.
There you go. No, but I mean, honestly, how do you feel about like the other thing I think is true is that bettors, they seem to know more than we do. And we still have good odds to win the division and to get in the playoffs.
Yep.
And I think ultimately what they're looking at, Glenn, is that Lamar Jackson wins 72% of his games. And that's over a how many year span now? Lamar's been in the league, 7 years? So different offensive lines, different quality defenses, different offensive coordinators. Lamar wins football games because he is the best football player to ever play football. So if Lamar is back, like barring other circumstances, I think that if Monk can dial this thing in, we can just outrun people.
I like that. And I think it's possible. I think this is Monken's last year, no matter what.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I think he probably only thought this would be short term. Probably thought he would get a head coaching job at some point.
Yeah.
And I think he's realizing now that's not going to be the case. I think if there's a turnaround this year, I think it'll be Lamar getting the credit. John will get some, but but I'm not sure how much Monken will get it as far as propelling him to like a better job. And so I do think this is his last hurrah. And so if he does want to continue, I think he does have to put on a good show. I think if he goes out there and there's no improvement, and even when Lamar comes back, the losing continues, I think he's done. So he's not getting any younger. Let's remember that, guy. He's not getting any younger. So I do think it's just as important for him as it is for anyone to get this ship turned around. And so if just the offense can get things turned around, like you mentioned, we can outscore teams. We can still outscore teams, even if the defense doesn't make massive improvements like we saw last year. I mean, it doesn't go from, what was it, dead last to top 10. Like, even if we don't see anything crazy like that, even if we don't see, what was it, through a 6-week stretch where we were like the best team defense in the league. Even if we don't see that, they get to top 20 to 20. I think that's enough to where the offense, if they get back to what they're supposed to do, can get back on the right track. We got some returning people coming. I think Ricard is expected to come back by Chicago. Hey, let's see what happens. If Ronnie's back and Ricard's back, I think we can definitely outscore people. So let's wait and see what happens. This game it's not over if we lose this Sunday, even though it might feel like it. I think it all hinges on who's back during that Chicago game on October 26th, and if we win that Chicago game.
That's a good point. I can't believe I forgot to bring him up. Like, where is Ricard? Like, if we get him back, another piece of this equation as far as our ability to just outscore people. Can we do that? Can we outscore you?
Yeah, it's going to have to be all hands on deck on offense in order to overcome what looks to be the worst defense in football, which is still crazy when you consider who's on this defense. It's absolutely insane to think about. But, folks, we will be back. We will certainly be back to get you prepped and prepared for this Rams game coming up this weekend. This Friday, I believe, is when we'll be doing our preview show to keep you up to date and ready to go for this weekend's game. And of course, then we'll always be back for our post-game show as soon as the game is over. Win or loss, we will be here to either celebrate or to give therapy out to everyone who may need it. But I think that's
remember, we're not licensed, folks.
No, very
we cannot be held liable.
Amateur. Yeah, these are amateur therapists here. But no, we'll work through it together either way. But I think that's it for us tonight, unless you have anything else, Jimbo.
That's it, my man.
Well, thank you guys. Appreciate you joining us, and we'll talk soon.
See ya.